Tauranga has suffered from underinvestment in its infrastructure and community facilities for decades. That has been driven by a desire to keep rates low, and we all understand that none of us want to pay higher rates or higher costs or higher prices. But the downside of that is that we pay in other ways. We pay, if we don't invest in our future, we pay in congested roads. The cost of houses are really high. The water services are not what they need to be, and we affect the environment. So, we've got a choice. We can either invest for the future, which is what the long-term plan is all about, is discussing and hopefully agreeing how we invest for the future of Tauranga, or we can nickel and dime it like we always have, and we'll get what we always have got, which is inadequate infrastructure to support the growth of the city, from which we all pay a price.
So how important is this long-term plan to Tauranga?
I think it is critical because the long-term plan sets the direction, but also clearly underlines the commitment of the investment to enable that direction to be realised. So it's important from 2 points of view. One of the challenges that we've got is because we've underinvested so much in the past, we're in the start of catch-up. So I'd like to be able to come to everyone and say, hey, just come up with all this money and we've got this magical solution and it'll be fixed overnight. The reality is that there is no question we have to make hard decisions and invest for the future. But it's going to take a wee while to turn the big tank around in the new direction. And I think we all have to understand that. But if we, through the long-term plan process, and then subsequently the wider discussion about how Tauranga grows in the context of the wider Bay of Plenty region, set the long-term direction that we can all buy into and have a common view and common alignment on, then I think the long-term plan is the start of that agreement.
And from an infrastructure point of view, what are some of the first things that you want to tick off, infrastructure-wise?
Well, clearly transportation is the major challenge. I mean, water we're making good progress on. I think Tauranga has a high standard there. But transportation and community facilities and infrastructure, I think, are the priorities. And when I talk about communities, I think we need to make sure that all of our infrastructure is enabling, to use the term, livable communities. So we need to build lots more houses. We all know that there's an undersupply of housing, and that's causing the cost of housing to go up beyond the reach of everyone, which is unsatisfactory. Houses are no good without the infrastructure, and particularly transportation infrastructure that connects it to jobs and education and leisure and recreation. So we need to think, I think, in a much more holistic way, is how can we provide infrastructure that enables houses and jobs to be connected. To me, that is the #1 priority.
If we meet up in a year's time and I ask you, what have you achieved, what do you hope to have achieved in that period of time?
Well, we would have made, I hope, the needed decisions in the short term about the level of rates and the level of developer fees and the role that the region and the government and the private sector can play in starting this catch-up, right? Beyond that, we need to have a bit more of a conversation about how the city and how the region grows into the future and build that case for alignment about the vision for the future. Because if we can all agree that, then sure, we'll have discussions around priorities, but at least we know which direction we're going in. I hope that we will have contributed to and demonstrated what good governance can be. And governance is about understanding strategy and making the decisions that are going to get us to the direction that we want to go to. And we are committed as a group of 4 commissioners to making those decisions, being an exemplar, we hope, of good governance and getting agreement and the support of the community to that longer term vision. One of the things I've found really positive is everybody loves the city and they all want us to make progress. So if we can just in our short time here harness some of that to get a common view about how we go forward, and yes, there will be debates about how much and how soon and where, but at least we'll start that conversation. And our biggest goal, I think, is to create an enduring kind of belief that that's the way we need to be going into the future, so that when we do return to local democracy, and the Minister has made it very clear, and we are all committed, we want that to be in 18 months, but we want it to create an environment where people who are truly committed to the city but have the expertise and vision and conviction to come in and lead the city into the future without squabbling, without infighting, then that would be a great outcome.
Tell us why you were selected to be a commissioner.
Yeah, well, I think what I bring is understanding of infrastructure and how infrastructure enables cities to grow and develop. I've both studied internationally on that subject, but have led the industry body here in New Zealand for the last 15 years, but also sit on the New Zealand Infrastructure Commission. So I'm able to, and the core business, of course, of council is providing the infrastructure as the foundation for growth for the city. So from that point of view, I can bring that expertise to the table.